Alright everyone, welcome to Road to GT3 episode 2. So I'm just going to show you a little bit around the garage and what we've been up to lately. So the frame is currently out being repaired at the moment, so we're getting the frame on a jig machine and it's all getting straightened out just to get the points all exactly right. So in the meantime, while that's out of the shop, we've got the space in the garage at the moment to be building the front and rear subframes, and we've got to set them up to the point where we've got all the lower and upper control arms and hubs and everything and suspension built, so we can test fit it to the newly straightened frame and put it all together, make sure that every point lines up within a mil, and just make sure everything's perfect so when I'm out on the track that it's running straight and true and we can just adjust it the way we need. So currently at the moment we've got James building the front subframe, so he's going to be putting on all of the lower and upper control arms, the steering rack at the moment, and the hubs, and just putting it all together to a point where normally the engine would be bolted on, but we're going to leave it at that point so that we can just quickly bolt it up to the frame once it's straightened and quickly unbolt it, so we can just keep testing it as we go to make sure that it fits up perfectly and all the frame chassis bolts line up with our subframe bolts. The new subframe that we're currently building all of our parts onto, due to ours being damaged, we actually picked it up from Lance Warren, who has built some of Australia's fastest GTRs, which he's got two of his cars that are down into the 7-second drag racing. So we went and checked out his workshop, checked out his drag GTR and also his street GTR, which is one of the ones that did a 7-second, even though it's still a street built car. So he showed us around, showed us what he was doing, and some of the things that are different between the GT3 car and a full built drag car. So that was really cool to check out, and that's where we got our front subframe from. If you want to check out his page at garage35_racing, you want to check out his YouTube page, and he's got some cool videos about him building his two drag cars, as well as getting them down the drag strip to making that 7-second pass. So James fully built the rear subframe as well. He just finished building that, and now that's why he's moved on to the front subframe. So he put all, same thing, lower control arms, all the strut bracing, the sway bar, hubs, all of that was put on. Disc brakes, everything was put in, as well as the gearbox. Now, unfortunately, we don't actually need the gearbox in, so he'll have to remove that as well. So it's just an extra weight that we don't need while testing it up to the frame. So unfortunately, we'll have to take the driveline and the gearbox back out. But it was good to test fit it anyway and get an idea that make sure everything did fit, everything was good, and we had all the parts that we needed to put it together. Also behind me, you can see the engine that we've put up on the engine stand. In our next episode, myself and James will be going through doing that, giving that a big refurb, pulling all the plugs out of it, checking everything, making sure the inside of the engine is in a healthy condition before we put it in the car. Now that won't go in the car until it's already been frame repaired, the subframes have been put on the car, tested into almost a rolling chassis, and then the engine will go on later. So in our next episode, we will refurb that in preparation of going into the car once it's at a rolling chassis. Alright, a little bit more about our garage. You can see we've got all the carbon fibre pieces stacked up here. So we've got front bumpers, rear bumpers, skirts. This is a lot of under here is all the under tray, because all of the Nismo has flat carbon fibre tray underneath for all the aerodynamics. We'll remove most of this. A lot will get repaired, and just we'll use some of the cores of these parts, because not everything is usable because a lot was damaged in the accident. So moving on, you can just see up in our stacked shelves, we've just got piping for intercooling, piping for our cooling systems. Some of the headlights are stacked in here, some of the interior parts. We've got our air jacks just sitting up in a box up here, because everything's just labelled and put aside for now while we're getting the car together. And then once we've got a rolling frame, we'll bring it all back in together and put it all in the car to make it work. Moving along, we've got our tool chest. This is actually the one we take on the road with us. We've got most of our major tools in here. We can fit what we need for just track days. Also sitting on top of it, this case has got all of our alignment tools for sitting on the wheels and doing our string alignments and everything for setting up the car, just on the side of the track. So all of that goes traveling with us on race days. Also behind me I've got the shelving that we put all the bolts in, so you can also see that we've labelled every single individual box. So the Nismo has a lot of bolts and parts that we're taking off the car. So all the little electronic components, washers, bolts and things like that, we put all into these little containers right on the front of them with tape, so we know where they go, where they're from, so we can make sure that we put them all back. Also just along here we've got a few more shelving, just spare bolts and stuff. These aren't from the Nismo, but we just, whenever we need stuff, we just need to, you know, get a spare bolt that's been missing or something like that. We can just, I've got bolts here and I've got bolts over on the shelving as well that we can use. Also sitting up on the shelf at the moment is our new Summers Racing hat. So this is the style that we've started selling on our website. So they come in this flat brim style. You can also see that a lot of guys like myself flex them like this, so you just bend them down if you want that sort of more curved look. Alright, so that's the end of episode 2 of Road to GT3. I hope you enjoyed the little tour of our garage. If you're liking what you're seeing on our channel, subscribe, write in the comments of what you'd like to see and what we're doing, and we'll catch you on the next one.